Hello there, welcome back to another day in the survival world. Today we'll be focusing on bamboo, Minecraft's most versatile and fastest growing plant. And we'll be looking at that in Bedrock and Java. And we'll be covering the basics between just simply gathering them, as well as farming them in many different means. Bamboo can be found naturally generating in bamboo variants of the jungle, usually in quite large patches like this. Sometimes you can get lucky and find bamboo in the normal jungle as well, but usually it's better to find a bamboo jungle like that over there, and you won't find them in sparse jungles. The preferred tool for gathering bamboo is a sword because it instant breaks, but an axe is also a viable option. I recommend only breaking the second one up and leaving the bottom one so that it can grow back in the future in case you need to come back to here to gather more. Another way to obtain bamboo would be from pandas, but who would be such a monster? Aw, look how adorable he is. Now if you're in Bedrock, pandas will drop more bamboo if you have looting. Up to a total of 5. And sometimes only 0. So just don't murder bamboos. Just don't murder bamboo. I can't say it, my goodness. Don't murder the pandas. That's just evil and it's not worth it and it's not efficient and it's just bad. Just no. Now when it comes to structures, where you can find bamboo, you can find them in jungle temples, probably hidden behind all the fancy traps. It's so dark in here, I can't see a thing. Let me light this up for you. Now, once you just break your way into here, you might get lucky enough to find bamboo, just like so, and you can find up to 3 per chest. None there though, and the odds are the same on Java and Bedrock, or at least roughly the same. The second and final structure where you can find bamboo is a shipwreck, though you want the supply chest, which is normally in the back by the door, so unfortunately this one does not have the chest we need. Now the final way to obtain bamboo would be fishing in a jungle. You gotta make sure you're in the jungle, not the river. Now you have to get lucky or unlucky and get junk, because bamboo belongs to the junk loot table in fishing. Bamboo can be planted on the following: grass, dirt, coarse dirt, rooted dirt, mud, muddy mangrove roots, moss, pale moss, podzol, mycelium, sand, sussand, red sand, gravel, and gravel. So now let's talk about how you can farm bamboo. First of all, you could go to the jungle and just manually harvest it, which is usually the simplest solution if you have a biome located. The secondary option would be to bring it back somewhere and put it on the corresponding blocks that are compatible with bamboo, like I mentioned prior, which is what we're going to start with for now. I'm going to come over here and we're going to set up a set of 8-bit of moss. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll put 1 bamboo on top of each one of these. And this is going to be our manual by hand farm. We need ourselves a bamboo chopper. So we're going to go ahead and make our first diamond sword, which is going to be fantastic. I'll pop that in here and call it bamboo chopper. Bamboo chopper. And then we'll head over to the enchantment table with a little bit of lapis. And we'll see if we can get a decent enchant. We're just going to do one. Let's see what we get. No, no, no. Terrible. So terrible. Okay, well, at least we have a sword for smacking spiders around. We're going to change this. The spider swatter. No, the anvil. So I went ahead and grabbed a bunch of supplies so that I can set up a variety of semi-automatic ways to farm bamboo. Because right now we basically have this set up where you punch it, and that's it. Let's get a little bit of redstone and such involved. Our first way, which is very, very simple, is taking a set of sticky pistons. Make a row here. We'll take our bamboo, stack it all on top, and simply add a button down here at the bottom for each one. And as it grows up, you can just hit the button. Moss is not going to work with that. Well, there's a little bonus tip for you. Don't use moss when you use sticky pistons, because pistons break moss. The idea is you have the bamboo here, you can press the button, break it, when it goes back down, you just replace it. So it's basically automates the breaking of it, so you don't need a tool or anything. The next one is a little bit more complicated. It actually does require redstone torches along the back. You have levers to keep the torches powered off, so when you flip the lever, you can activate the piston to break the bamboo. And this is set up with the first little tip in mind that I mentioned in the video when harvesting, is you leave the bottom one so that it can continue to regrow. So you can sit here and just gather whichever one you need whenever you want. Now for this next one, we're actually going to get into a bit of automation for growing crops, which would include using bone meal. So we take all this bone meal and fill all these dispensers. Now we can actually automate the growth. So it's being a bit weird. Wasn't expecting it to do that. So I guess we'll do this. Guess I didn't test this one out very well. This one is probably better off not being tiled and being an individual one, so you can sit here and just... Kind of interesting how it works though, right? So you can sit here and just flip levers a whole bunch and you get tons of bamboo. Now for our next one, it's a little bit more advanced. If you have enough slime, you can actually attach 12 slime blocks to a sticky piston, and whenever you power it, it'll move the entire thing, which will break all of these in a line. So it's just a slightly better version of this one here. I've now taken it one step further using a clock to time when we want the pistons to break everything, as well as dispense the bone meal from the dispensers. And we have it set up this way with the repeaters so that it triggers the dispenser after the piston pushes out. So basically, it's at the right timing so that breaks, grows, breaks, grow, break, grow, and it will just repeat that until it's out of bone meal. It actually even tells you because you hear the different sound of the dispensers clicking and not actually dispensing bone meal anymore. Then you can simply flip it off. Now for the next step, we're actually going to make use of a fairly new item called a crafter, as well as using some hoppers. What we want to do is automate the collection process. So we can do something with this one here. While it's not going to gather everything 100%, by putting a row of hoppers here, it should gather the majority of it. Next, we'll set up a little thing with the crafter here so that it will be able to produce the materials we need. So we can basically take all our bamboo and put it in here. But what we're going to do with this one is first block out these sections so only 2 bamboo can go in there, which will make sticks. And if we dump all of this bamboo in there, it'll start to fill into here, and it will start to completely fill into here. And then something we can do is basically take a redstone off of that, and it will start producing sticks and bamboo blocks for us, which it should only be able to do anything in here once this is full. So it'll be a bit slow of production, but the sticks should go pretty fast. So while we'll have to manually set this up, we can actually integrate the entirety of this system if we wanted to, where we have auto collection, and then we can have auto crafting. Now this was just kind of a good way to display a variety of different ways you can farm bamboo and be as tactile or hands-off as you want it to be. So I went ahead and built all these farms that I had set up in my Java world in Bedrock just to verify everything works the same. There's 2 minor differences that I've found. The fact that redstone will actually connect into pistons, and for some reason the double chest thing, like where you have to hold shift in Java to separate them, is not working on Bedrock. I am unsure why, so you have to put them in different directions to make them separate chests. I have upgraded my machine and it should be working properly. So we got the mud there so the items can get pulled through. We have a set of hoppers set up here so that we can get a stockpile of just regular bamboo if we need it for anything like scaffolding and whatnot. We got a lever here set up so that if we want to trigger the farm we can, and it will start working. I've got it timed perfectly so that it grows it and breaks it right after. And we can lock these if we don't want to craft, but if we want to craft we can simply flip the levers on and then we'll start crafting. But I do think if I do this, it'll lock both. Oh, it doesn't. Or does. That's fine. Basically, if we want to craft, we put them together like that. If we don't want to craft, then we swap it the other way. And we should be getting a stockpile of bamboo here, and I think there's enough bamboo going through that we should be doing some crafting ever so slowly. So eventually all of these chests will be completely full. And we'll have plenty of materials. Yay! Now just to kind of show you how the redstone was set up, it was very similar to what we had over there. So we have a repeater here which is pulling the power out of this block when it's up. We have this set to basically 2 ticks going into this block to power these. And we have it set up here where we got repeaters basically powering the empty space here, which will power the pistons, and they are on 4 ticks each. So it's actually a pretty simple setup to have automatic, and then I have adjusted the timing on my clock here so that it's 2 ticks per repeater. So it just kind of seemed to work better because I was having troubles with it getting locked when it was going slower or faster. So this is what I believe is an optimal setup for a very basic farm early game without using like observers. You don't even have to go to the nether for this. Now let's hop over onto the Bedrock world. I have now come over here to the Bedrock world, replicated the machine. It's more or less the same. There's just a little bit of variation to it in the fact that this needs actual blocks to power this. It doesn't do the weird thing that Java does where it powers the one below. But the setup is more or less the same, and the levers don't like to be directional. And the kind of priority of how things are pulled. So for example, the bamboo dropping through here always goes straight into this one immediately from this chest, and it takes a long time to build up here. As you can see, the bamboo doesn't even like show up here because it goes straight through so fast. And just like I said, it takes a long time to get here because it doesn't prioritize this hopper on the right. But we do build up bamboo over here much quicker on Bedrock. So we'll get sticks and bamboo pretty quickly. Or actually, I think it prioritizes that. Yes, it prioritizes going down in Bedrock versus how Java kind of divides it up a little bit here and there. But it does function more or less the same. I hope you enjoyed that little dive into bamboo and how it works between both versions of Java and Bedrock, and you could find some useful farms and potentially use this in your world as well. That's going to be it for this episode today, and I believe what I will do for the next episode is get into enchanting, and I have some build ideas that I'd like to do as well. And potentially, we will find ourselves another sniffer egg and get a sniffer farm going. I like that idea, and a lighthouse build, which would be cool. But anyways, thanks so much for watching. See you later.